How's it gaming? I'm Phil in the Blanks, and welcome back to the Black Box Files with file number 9, Excitebike. I think this is one of those games that any hardcore NES retro gamer has played in one form or another. Excitebike is just a classic, a staple of old school NES. It is great. Let's just jump in there with Selection B. Selection A and Selection B, the only difference is Selection A is you're playing by yourself, and Selection B is you're playing kind of the main game. So let's just jump in there. You can choose any of the 5 tracks. We'll start with number 1, and you do that track. For some reason, you do that track twice. You do it once as like a qualifier, and then once as the actual race, and you kind of move on to 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, despite the fact that I grew up with this game, I used to play a lot, I am awful at it. I'm really bad. I don't know what it is. I even looked ways to like speed run it and do a little bit better and to beat it. I've never beaten this game ever. And I think it's because I never really cared if I did. You can view all 5 tracks anytime, so it's not really important if you beat the enemies or the whatever, like hit the podium, because you can view any of the races, so it's not really a big deal. So that's probably why I was never super good at it. But basically the idea is, you can see it is a side-scrolling racing game. Something you don't see all that often. But for some reason when you do, it's almost always motocross. And you got your little Excitebike guy there, isn't he adorable? And pressing A will make you go forward, pressing B will go a little bit faster, but your temperature gauge will start to heat up. And when you hear that annoying like noise, then you know you're about to overheat. So you don't want that, obviously. And nice finish, very good, very good. There are jumps, obviously, and you kind of move your momentum and the kind of positioning of your bike, and that's kind of how you can gain speed and stuff. You can knock into other riders, you can get knocked off by other riders. It's pretty fun. Now, the point of the game is to make it at least on the podium for every race. So I need to beat this level. This is the same level we just did. For some reason, you do a qualifier and then the actual race. But you need to get at least a minute 32, which shouldn't be a problem. We did it under a minute a second ago, so it shouldn't be a problem. Take that, jerk. If you go over the little chevrons, you, for some reason, completely heal your bike. There, that guy we knocked each other off there. It'll cool down your bike immediately, so you really do want to know about where they are. And it's very much the kind of game that you want to know the layout for all the tracks, which is definitely helpful. But it gets very difficult once you hit like track 3. That's usually when I fail, but that's okay. We'll still be able to see all the tracks anyways, even if it's just by me hand selecting it on the menu. So, but it is fun. Like I said, this is a big classic. Almost everyone's played this one. And it is a bit of a franchise. We haven't seen a lot of franchise kind of things on the Black Box Files yet, where there's been a lot of sequels and follow-ups, but this one actually has a few. The main one that... Okay, that was just bad. The main one that most people know is Excitebike 64, which was big for the N64. There was Excite Trucks for the Wii, which I actually thought was pretty cool. And I think the last one was Excite Bots, I think? For the... Oh, geez, was it for the Wii U? I don't know, I've never actually played it. It actually might have been for the Wii again. Here's level 2. But yeah, the most underrated one, and probably the one that no one really has ever really played a lot of, is Excitebike Versus, or Versus Excitebike, I forget which way it goes, but it is the kind of arcade NES version of it, and almost like a direct sequel to this one. It changed a lot. Almost all the games that we've seen so far in the Black Box Files has had like an arcade versus version made for it, but usually it's not really a big deal. It's just like, here you go, here's some extra graphics, here's an extra mode or something, but it's nothing major. This one was a pretty big deal. They added, first of all, a full 2-player mode. Oh, there, down I go. A full 2-player mode, and music while you're racing, which does not happen in this game, which is a shame. The course design kind of stuff makes a little bit more sense. It's just like an overhaul. It felt like a real sequel, which is pretty cool. But that one is a bit of a rarity. You don't see it often, dang. That's okay. I just need to make a minute 30, and I should be able to make that pretty easily here. We're at the end. So the actual racers going around, they're not like actually racing you. They're just there to be obstacles. There's not one that's actually like, oh, I need to beat him. He's the number 1. No, you need to get a specific time. There we go. The time that you see for number 3, you have to make it within 8 seconds. Or not 8 seconds. You need to make it within that. But if you make it 8 seconds faster than that, that is basically the #1 place. So right now we need a minute 18, and we need that. But if you get a minute 10, then you're first place. Also, you can kind of do a wheelie, and you can go over those little barriers by using the wheelie. Oh, this is so bad. Like I said, I'm not particularly good at this game. I don't know what it is. I've tried. I've looked up techniques on how to do better. For some reason, my brain's just like, no, you're just going to be bad at this game, man. Just deal with it. Ah, no, overheated. You gotta wait. You gotta wait it out. I can sometimes make it past this one, but this is usually where my game stops. You see, I'm suddenly garbage. That's okay. Excitebike's just fun. My sister and I used to play this a lot. It was always a shame that there was like a two-player mode, but Excitebike Versus did add that, which is pretty cool. Little wheelies over these guys. Boop, boop. Ah, messed that one up. That's okay. But it's a pretty neat idea. They, you know, just, it's not like got a physics model or anything, but the idea of like, you gotta land your bike properly. You know, you gotta do something. It was just neat. It was just a cool idea. So good on them for that. There we go. Much better, much better. Don't want to overheat. Well, I got knocked out anyways. It's fine. Well, I don't think we're gonna make this. Like I said, 4, 3, 2. No, wow. Already screwed up. Like I said, I'm just not particularly good at this one for some reason. But we can still see all of the levels. We can just hand-pick them in the menu. There I am, just like, oh well, 5th, really? I was hoping for at least 4th. That's okay. We'll just go to the #4 now. We're cheaters. It's great. That's one of the fun parts about a lot of the black box games. It's like, you can just view every level. So, it's pretty neat. Now, weirdly enough, I think this is weird. This is not Nintendo's first racing game for the, well, I was gonna say the NES, but in Japan it's the Famicom, but for their 8-bit system, basically. In Japan, before Excitebike, they actually made, holy crap, Phil, they made F1 Race. Now, that did not get a North American release, but the Game Boy version did, and that's actually a really fun Game Boy game. I really enjoy it. But for some reason, despite the fact that it had like no real need for Japanese language knowledge, it was perfectly functional in English and stuff, they did not port it over here. I would have really thought that would have been something that they'd do as a launch title. But nope, they chose Excitebike instead, which is obviously a good decision. Excitebike is great, and in North America it's considered a classic. But I'm just surprised they didn't do both. Like, why only one racing game? Yet 4 weird light gun games for the NES. I don't know. Dang, wow, Phil! People are running me over. Just like in real life, if I ever rode an actual motorbike. But yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do both of them, because, like, why wouldn't you, right? Just an extra thing, you didn't need to localize it. So it's kind of a shame. Oh, I actually did better on this one than I did the other one. Still failed, but it was within 5 seconds. But I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably choose this one too. F1 Race was very much like pole position in every other kind of at the time racing game. From behind with the kind of like the horizon chasing genre of racing, and it was well done. But this one's unique, very very Nintendo. So good on them for that. Now down I go. Woo! This is a classic, so classic though that they wanted to see. Oh dang. They wanted to make the Excitebike Racer an actual playable character in Smash Brothers, but they ended up not doing it for Melee. But there are multiple trophies in Smash Brothers based on the Excitebike character, and one of the assist trophies that can actually like help fight with you is an Excitebike Racer, which is really cool. It's just super slow now. This one's awful. This is a difficult friggin' track. Just really, really hard. 1 lap, 42 seconds. Absolutely terrible. Ooh, that was good. Oh, that was good too. Yeah, now we're cooking with gas. So question of the day. Ow. No! Went over the ramp. Question of the day. Have you ever done like motocross or like dirt biking or anything like that? I haven't. I'm not one for that type of stuff. I used to go ATVing a bit around my grandparents' place, but no dirt bikes or anything like that. Ooh, my gosh. And this is probably why. Maybe I had PTSD. I was like, hey Phil, do you want to go dirt biking? And I'd like think back on Excitebike and like the war music would start up. You know what I mean? Oh my god, why would you do that to me? But it's pretty cool. It's pretty well done. I like this one a lot. I might be garbage at it, but this is a game I came back to a lot when I was a kid. Very much fun. Let us reset and go to the third option, design, which allows you to design your own courses, which is a complete first on Black Box Files. And yeah, let's go in there. Pretty cool. You have a bunch of things you can add, and they're all like labeled like this, so it's a little bit awkward, but you get used to it. And then you move forward, and you can be like, okay, add that. That didn't make any sense, but what else do I have? Sure, why not? I like the big ramps. They're fun. Let's just do this. But when we were kids, my sister and I would play this one a lot. We just liked Excitebike. It was just super fun. I don't know why the ramps are always in the top 2 lanes, but whatever. But you have a bunch of different ones to choose from. It's pretty neat. Anything that's already in the game, you can choose and recreate. So it's pretty cool. Very, very cool. Look at that. Look at the big things here. And then you can go and you can play it. Add the ending. There we go. And how many laps? And then we go play mode A. And you can go play mode B and play with other computer characters. It's pretty neat. Like, this is really cool. As a kid who liked to design stuff, this is very cool. I probably should put one of those chevrons. I knew that was going to happen. But yeah, no, this was very creative for its time. Kids like making that stuff, man. Super, super neat. And once we finish my awful little track here. There we go. I'll show you something kind of weird about this game that I think is just fun if they kept it. So you can see save, load, and reset. What? You can save on this? There were battery backup packs for the NES? No, there was not. It'll just hang here for a little while because this was part of the Japanese Famicom version of the game. You could get an actual tape deck with an actual audio cassette that you could save your Excitebike tracks on. And it would take a while to save, and it would take a while to load. And that was just something that the Japanese version of the game had that the American version does not have. But they kept the menu in there. That's the funny part. This whole thing is exactly the same as the Japanese Famicom version. And if you go to load, it will hang here indefinitely. We have now soft locked the game. There we go. We beat Excitebike. That's how it works. Funnily enough, though, the manual actually still states that the save and load stuff will be implemented for future like product development, as if they actually thought they were going to release the Famicom tape deck for anything. But yeah, there we go. That was Excitebike. An absolute classic. Great game, despite the fact that it is not as functional as its Japanese release and not as good as its direct sequel that we barely got to see in North America. Despite all those shortcomings, this is one that I think most people remember super, super fondly. So yeah, that was it for Excitebike. And tune in next time for file number 10, Ice Climber. I'm Phil in the Blanks. See you next level. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to know when the next episode is up. If you want to support my channel, share some videos with some friends and consider supporting me on Patreon.